Crossbuckle Homestead. I'm going to be making some pear butter today. I have some leftover pears from a gift, and they're getting a little too soft to eat, but they are perfect for pear butter. I generally do make apple butter around this time of year, but since we were gifted with some pears, I'm going to actually pair that with a little bit of crystallized ginger, maybe a little bit of cardamom, and it'll be a delicious treat. So join me along the way. These pears, as you can tell, are very soft. They're definitely past their prime, so there isn't a whole lot of need to break them up too much. They're going to stew down in the pot and get really buttery and delicious, which is what we're looking for. The skins will also break down, and then I will probably use an immersion blender later to make sure that any remaining bits are as smooth as can be. With these kinds of pears, there's always one wrapped in gold. Turn this around for you guys a little bit. The caramelized ginger is down there at the bottom, and I'm just going to go ahead and let these pears stew down for a bit. I will add a cup of brown sugar just to sweeten them up even more, make it more of a dessert, and we'll check back with you later. In addition to the sugar, I'm also going to add some organic lemon juice just to stabilize it a little bit and extend the shelf life. One of the things that you have to take into consideration while making any kind of butter, fruit butter at all, is that you don't scald or scorch the fruit. Anything burnt is going to taste really, well, burnt. What you're doing in a fruit butter is essentially taking all of the moisture out of it and reducing it to its essences. And so if you burn that, it's going to be a very concentrated burn flavor. So I have got this up to a rolling boil, so I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. The idea is to cook off all this excess liquid so that you do have something that's spreadable. And in the meantime, you just have to periodically stir to make sure that nothing's sticking to the bottom and making sure that your temperature is pretty even. reduced quite a bit. You can see there on the edge of the pan, it's dropped down about 1.5 inches or 2 inches. And I'm going to take this opportunity to use the immersion blender, and we're going to break up those extra pieces. Okay, now that it's dissolved, blended up, now that it's blended up, we are going to go ahead and let it reduce even further. You'll be able to tell when it's ready to go when you draw a line through it and it kind of stays. Right now you can see that it's starting to do that, but the color should darken up just a little bit. I have done this before in a slow cooker so that you don't have to be quite as hands-on, but I actually find that it doesn't allow the flavors to develop as well. I think that it might have something to do with the temperature that the sugar gets in the fruit, and then so it tastes a little bit more caramely when you're doing it over the stove and you have a little bit more control over the temperature. I found that it was a little bit bland when I did it in the slow cooker, but I didn't also have to stand over it all day, so there are pros and cons to each method. Around the kitchen, there are a few other things that are going on. We are in the midst of a renovation project. As you can see, we've got tons of different paintbrushes and paint samples and spackle cans. We have multiple different colors of paint on the wall. We did get new granite countertops not too long ago in preparation to sell our home down the line so that everything would be ready to go when we were ready to go. But then the granite countertops made our current cabinets look not so great. So we are in the process of trying to pick colors. We have gone with this one. It is Pear, I think it's called Creek Bend. It's a nice kind of taupey dark gray. And now it's between this color and this color, which probably on camera look identical. And honestly, in person, they're not quite different either. So we're in the process of doing that. I am also looking into getting a large chef style cutting board made out of HDSE or something like that, some kind of letter abbreviation. Basically, it's what they line the tops of their cook stations with. But I want it to be long enough that it will fill up the space between the island and the rest of the countertop. Although our kitchen is very large, it really doesn't have a lot of counter space per se, where we can do larger projects like jam making and whatnot. So we're going to be looking into that, and hopefully it will work as well as I hope. But until then, we are going to continue to watch the pear butter boil down or simmer down until it's nice and thick, and I will show you the finishing results. Okay, so those 8 pears cooked down to all of 1.5 pints. It's all very thick and delicious. There aren't very many jars as I was hoping, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in the refrigerator and call it a day. Thanks so much for joining.